Hey guys, Bowie here, and today we're going to talk about the best hero of the patch. You might have heard of Dota Alchemy. I recently came across one of their thumbnails and it said, oh, this hero cannot lose, showing a Sand King in the thumbnail. Sand King is the most boring, sad hero. All you do in the laning stage is hide and play like a wuss. Today I'm going to show you what a strong hero looks like. Stalker is really good at getting first blood. In this game we are watching Pasha playing Stalker. One of the many reasons for the hero to be so good right now are his low cooldown spells. Even at level 1, the cooldown of Void is really short and allows you to slowly wear your opponents down. If we watch the entire clip, he gets 4 Voids down and he goes very chill about it. The core concept of him coming out of the base with the Mango is that in this particular lane, A plus Lark, when he has a Tiny with him, just means it's really easy for them to get kills. Note how he even double checks the Tiny move speed when he protects the rune here. They know that he can run at the AA and there's nothing he can do. Then when he sees the Slark coming from the other side, he doesn't waste mana on him. You know, he could harass the Slark if he wanted to. After all, he already learned the passive, but he already started going at the AA and he's just an easier kill. They get the first toss and he could have just dove and get the same results. But not only he runs away to get a better toss position, but to take less damage from the Slark, and there you go. The kill is very much appreciated because Lark is really annoying to lane against. This hero counters a lot of meta heroes. If we go forward in the last replay, we can see that once nighttime comes, Lark is not annoying at all. It's quite the opposite. There is obviously finesse on how Pasha gets this kill. He goes in with Void, and if you check the Lark perspective, he maybe thought there was no mana for the silence, but there was a stick there giving him exactly enough to get the kill. 5 seconds of silence with 1 point of a skill is absurd, and heroes like Lifestealer, Quap, Jugger, Centrum, Rana, Void, OD suffer a lot against this bad boy. Void, your first skill, also attack speed slows for 3.5 seconds, and without a way to dispel it, Slark is no match for the Batman, and even if he dispels it, the silence is not going to be taken off. Usually a sign of a hero being broken is his versatility. In this game we can see Qojva playing him in the safe lane. He has a Magnus on his team, so he's gonna farm even faster. This hero gets 150 raw damage and 90 attack speed from his skills alone, and power makes him a god at farming and an even scarier hero. But safe lane is not the only lane I've seen Stalker being experimented with. I recently saw BSJ playing the hero made a lot on his stream, and some players do play him as a far sometimes. This hero doesn't have a lot of counters at the moment, so you can also pick it early in the draft with very little fear. This hero is really good at forcing people to be where you want them to be, and a lot of other heroes are good at that, but the difference to Stalker is how fast he is so early. You see in display bottom, not only he forces a TP, kills the Crystal Maiden, usually when the enemy forces a TP like this, they think they can fight because, you know, it's gonna take a while for you to be somewhere else, but because Stalker is so fast, he can show up here. This leads us to the next reason this hero is so good. This hero is the king of runes, and the reason for it is that at 5 minutes, no one wants to contest your rune because it means they will probably give a sure kill away unless the enemy brings more heroes, and if they do that, it might still be a net loss for them because that other hero is not farming. But by saving your ult for the rune time, you can make sure it's nighttime and you're even stronger in that stage, so you get the 5th minute rune, and if they try to contest your 10th minute rune, you can fuck them up. This move was calculated by War. He played aggressively tons of times, but once he was 140 seconds away from the rune spawn, even when playing this aggressive, he saves the cooldown to not only pick up the runes, but then hunt the heroes that try to pick them up. Solar Crest is for sure one of the best items in the patch. It's cheap, has cheap components, it helps you Roche, it synergizes with all the hero does, and can buff your other cores, which a lot of the time want the Solar Crest since the more popular role for Stalker is 3 at the moment, so you're always gonna have another right clicker in your team. In this game, 33 struggled quite a bit in the early game. Willow, for instance, is 1 level ahead of the enemy offlaner, yet with very few items and a medallion, this hero can solo kill almost anything. In fact, just with that item, he was able to kill the Shadow Demon over and over again in that game, eventually coming back from what was a really rough start. Map hack and the no pathing restriction makes this hero really hard to play against. Take this fight for instance, Lifestealer engages on the Chen and the Ember just wants to follow up. But here's the thing, not only Stalker has the knowledge of everything happening, Ember doesn't have vision of him. so he can pre-position on the remnant location to crush the Ember. As they chase the Life Stealer later on, because they have intel of the area, Magnus is 100% sure he can RP, because there's no Willow or SD around. You might say, oh, Willow doesn't have ult, but that's a bug actually. Usually, when you use one of Willow's ults, it's gonna show as if she doesn't have it. Now, let's talk about attack speed slow. Since Solar Crest is often the first item you see Night Stalkers building, what ends up happening is that he becomes extremely hard to kill at night. On one hand, you have a very long silence, so usually spellcasters are not going to be able to kill you, and on the other, you have combined minus 130 attack speed with Solar Crest and your Void attack speed slow. Few heroes have enough damage to kill him in this state, and usually during the duration of the silence, Night Stalker has enough damage to kill you. Look at this Qojva clip, he's 100% alone, split pushing bottom, gets engaged by the Rubik. Because of the silence, the Life Stealer has to rage before he starts attacking and does minimal damage. And with the map hack on Qojva, he can buy enough time to re-engage on the Ember, since 1, he knows for a fact that he has no mana, and rage is not ready. If not for the attack speed slow, Ember could maybe proc one attack and kill him. What happens instead is that 3 dire heroes end up falling and Qojva is still alive. The last reason is Aghanim Scepter. This is another really good item on Night Stalker. The reduced cooldown on your Q, the AoE, the attack speed slow on everyone, and the fact that it makes you really tanky while improving your farm are just a couple of reasons for this item to be maybe not this popular, but really good. When you see Radiant's damage output, you clearly see how most of it is magical and pure. Solar Crest is never a bad item, especially when you have a Luna in your team, but this hero is all about being in the middle of the fights, soaking damage and staying alive to provide vision, and against that lineup, Axe gives him way more effective HP than Solar. You could probably farm just as fast with Solar, but it wouldn't be as tanky. The other option is obviously BKB, but it doesn't help you farm, has worse build-up, you know the drill. If you're being crushed, that's probably the item you have to go. Another reason to go Aghanim Scepter that usually shouldn't happen, since most carries and mids are good wave clearers, is when your team sucks at clearing waves. Sometimes you're against a Naga or too many units, and the Axe can help you shove waves and participate in fights. So sometimes if you're playing mid or safe lane, or if you have a lot of money, Aghanim Scepter can be, usually is a really good item. Guys, thank you very much for liking, commenting, and subscribing. If you want this channel to be a little bit more sustainable, if you want more videos, more quality videos, I urge you to check our new Patreon rewards. We have a bunch of new and exciting tiers for you to try, as well as a Patreon goal of 100 people. That would allow me to hire an editor to be able to play more Dota, create more content, cast, research, and all of that good stuff. If you don't follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Discord are just a couple of suggestions you can find, so you can get the best of everything we are doing. See ya, bye.